Hi guys, and welcome back to the Red Mist podcast with me Seshadri, and welcome to the preview of the final Champions League group stage match between Liverpool and Midtjylland, which is going to take place in Denmark. It's a bit of a dead rubber, isn't it? If you really wanted to watch an exciting game of football within Group D, you'd probably want to watch the other one, which is between Atalanta and Ajax, and it's pretty much a straight shootout for the second place spot in the group. But that decides who goes to the next round of the Champions League and decides who goes to the Europa League knockout round. So, if you're looking for an exciting game, I'd probably suggest you to watch the other one. But if you are a Liverpool fan, you're probably going to watch this one anyway, because there is still stuff to talk about when it comes to this game. Obviously, Liverpool came out as 4-0 winners against Wolves for the first time in playing in front of fans as champions. So that was really nice. That was a really nice victory as well. The first team played pretty much most of the game. It was the three substitutes that were used. Two of them were coming back from injury, and Diogo Jota was obviously he was playing his former club, so he had to feature at some point. But that's just part of the whole thing. This game, the Midtjylland game, it's a dead rubber. Like I said, we've already assured ourselves of first place in the group. So no matter what happens in the Atalanta Ajax game, no matter what happens in this game, we're going to be going through as group winners from Group D. As far as this game itself goes, there's quite a bit of team news to cover, really. So we'll start with the hosts, Midtjylland. Obviously, so they are bottom of the group as well, so they don't have anything to play for either. But so Midtjylland, one good news for them is the fact that Eric Sviatchenko is back to the starting 11. He should be back anyway. He was suspended for the 1-1 draw against Atalanta, which, by the way, is the only point that they have in all of their Champions League games. So he should be back. For those of you who don't know, Eric Sviatchenko, he did play a little while for Celtic as well. So some of you fans of the Scottish League might actually recognize him from there. The other side of it, the flip side of it, they'll be without midfielder Jens Kajust. He's been sidelined with an injury since November 22nd, so he will not be playing either. I think Midtjylland's going to go all out tomorrow in the Champions League, because I do feel like it's a chance. I think they'll see it as a chance for them to maybe pull off an upset. Even a draw would be a good result for them against Liverpool now, especially with, I think Liverpool's going to play a weaker team. May not be, even that said, that so-called weaker team might still be strong enough to beat Midtjylland. But I do think, there is a chance. I do feel like Midtjylland will think about, maybe going for it and maybe a smash and grab win, I guess. But yeah, that could happen. Brian Prisker, for those of you who don't know, is the Midtjylland head coach. He was obviously looking forward to this year's last match in the Champions League. It's also their last home game of 2020, so they'll try they'll try and do the best they can. And last week's draw against Atalanta, going away to Bergamo, scoring first, and for a long time they actually led the game. But doing that has obviously given them a lot of confidence, and they'll try and use that confidence tomorrow against us as well. But I think that's, I don't want to predict lineups for this. Normally in my match previews, I predict lineups, and I'll get to why I don't want to predict lineups, because both sides in this game have nothing to play for different reasons. Obviously, Midtjylland are eliminated. They have nothing to play for. They're not even going to be part of the Europa League if they win. Whereas Liverpool are going to go through to the Champions League knockout rounds as group winners. So again, they have nothing to play for. So I don't know. I just don't think there is much point in me trying to predict a lineup, because I think a lot of, given the fixture congestion that we've got this season, given the fatigue, the injuries that players have, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a lot of rotation from both sides, probably. Maybe not for them, maybe because they said it's their last home game, so maybe they don't think about rotation. But you never know. But even they've got league games after this, so they've got they're playing OB, they're playing Copenhagen in the Danish Cup as well, and then they're playing Midtjylland on the 21st of December before finally breaking off for the winter. So they've also got games coming up thick and fast, and I think both sides will rotate a lot. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense for both sides to be playing. I will still try and predict, maybe who will start, who may not start, maybe now and then, especially for Liverpool. And I'll get to them in a little bit. But Midtjylland, honestly, they could rotate all 11 players, genuinely. I doubt they'll do that, but they could if they wanted to. Now, as far as Liverpool's team news goes, we've still got long-term injuries to obviously Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk. So they're going to be missing this as well. Thiago Alcantara, Alisson Becker, James Milner, Xherdan Shaqiri will all be unavailable for this game. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, good news, is back in training, but he is not going to be playing against Midtjylland. Although rumors are, there are people in the press who think he might be an option at least for the Fulham game. So maybe the Fulham game over the weekend he might be on the bench potentially. We never know. But we'll see how it goes. As for tomorrow's game, I think Kevin Kelleher is going to start. He is going to start the game against Midtjylland because he's young, he needs experience, and he's done well so far. He's had a clean sheet in both his Champions League and his Premier League debuts. Not a lot of keepers can say that, and Alisson obviously has given him his full support, sent him a text before the game. So I think he's going to be fine. I think Kevin Kelleher is full of confidence. He's going to be a good keeper. He's going to have a good performance tomorrow, especially. So far, however, he has benefited from a backline that is I would say quite strong. But tomorrow that may not be the case. I think tomorrow he's going to have to deal with Reece Williams and Billy Koumetio playing up at centre back. Honestly, at least if I was Klopp, I would do that. I don't know if he actually will, because this gives Klopp a chance to rest whatever remaining centre backs there are in the team. Your Joel Matip's, your Fabinho's. I feel like that's a good option. Just play Reece Williams and Billy Koumetio at centre back. At right back, I think Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to play. Now, whether he comes off the bench or whether I think he starts the game and gets taken off later on, maybe at around the 60-minute mark. But I think that's just, because he's making a comeback from injury, and he is expected to feature more over the coming weeks, especially, with a game against Tottenham coming up, I think, in a week and a half's time. We need Trent fit for that, and, building up match fitness is going to be crucial. I know Trent's not been out for that long, but I do think building up match fitness is going to be crucial. So I think he'll definitely start. At left back, we are probably most likely going to go with Kostas Tsimikas because Andy Robertson's been playing out of his mind. He's on form, and I think he's just got to be given a rest. Like, yes, obviously, he's got a lot of stamina, but you don't want to run your players out too early. So I think, personally, Kostas should get the nod for this game. In midfield, I think we'll see two debutants. I think we'll see Leighton Clarkson as well as Jake Cain both make their debuts. They've both been quite impressive in the youth categories, and they've played for Liverpool. I think it is Jake Cain has definitely played. I remember him playing against Shrewsbury Town. So definitely Jake Cain's probably going to be making his debut as well in the Champions League, as is Leighton Clarkson, who plays as a defensive midfielder. The other midfield position, I'm going to say it's going to be Minamino, or maybe Xherdan Shaqiri. Or is Shaqiri a miss? Yeah, Shaqiri is a miss. So I'd say Minamino starts. Chamberlain is not fit to start because otherwise I think he would have made the lineup. Up front, I'd say Diogo Jota is definitely going to start the game. Maybe one out of Mane, Salah and Firmino start. Probably, I want to say Mane. But again, it's all very... Origi will definitely also be there in the lineup. So I don't know. This is very hard to predict. Like I said, it's just a very, very hard lineup to predict because I don't think we'll see most of the first team tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't think we'll see most of the first team. So it's a really hard lineup to predict. Normally I'd have predictions for the lineup for this game, but like I said, it's just with the rotation that's going to happen tomorrow. I genuinely just don't think we're going to pick as strong a lineup. because every point in the Premier League is crucial, especially with Tottenham coming up. And you going into the Tottenham game, I'd rather we go level on points at worst uh, than already start on the back foot and give maybe Jose's side a little bit of a mental advantage there. But I think that's I mean, I know it's a really short preview that I've done. Um, for those of you, I don't know, who are expecting a longer preview, I genuinely am sorry. I just don't have much to say. It's just, how do I expect the game to go? I think it depends a lot on the lineup, and so I think tomorrow's raw reactions when I do the pre-game segment, I think that's probably going to inform more of how I think the game's going to go. We might be good, but depends on the lineup. I think if Midtjylland play a strong lineup and we're playing a bunch of youth and reserve players, then you never know. Things could maybe not turn out the way they should, and I don't know. It's just a matter of, I think, seeing the lineups and deciding how they'll go, or predicting how they'll go. So I can't really say much right now because I don't know both the lineups, and yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But Midtjylland as a club, last time I did the preview for Ajax and Atalanta, we spoke a little bit about the club as well. So I'll just do that. Just a little bit of general knowledge to end the show, really. So Midtjylland plays in Midwestern Jutland, which is where it gets its name from. It's based in two cities called Herning and Ikast, and it was a merger between Ikast FS and Herning Fremad, which were traditionally rivals, but never really had a great part to play in Danish football history. So it was the merger of these two clubs that became FC Midtjylland. They compete in the Danish Superliga. They've won the league 3 times, and they are the defending champions. Of course, they are currently top of the league as well. They are on 23 points, which is top of the league, and 2 points clear of Sonderrisk. I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. That's they're on 21 points, and Brøndby as well, who are also on 21 points. Some of you might remember Brøndby. Brøndby has a Liverpool connection in terms of Daniel Agger. So some of you might remember that as well. But generally, yeah, it's been a good few years for Midtjylland, and they've been in the Champions League group stage. Obviously, being in a group with Ajax, Atalanta, and Liverpool, not exactly ideal or conducive to them moving, potentially causing an upset and going into the next sort of stage of the Champions League. But they're a minor club, and they'll enjoy the experience. Obviously, they'll learn from it. The owner of Midtjylland is obviously Matthew Benham, who is also the owner of English Championship side Brentford. So I'll say this: some of you might have also known, they have a very, very good scouting talent. They have a very, very good. They're very good at scouting talent, and they have a very good youth academy. And they were the first Danish club to establish their own football academy and attracts players from pretty much all over Denmark, as well as having a partnership with FC Ebede, which is a club in Nigeria. So a lot of Danish talent that you guys know: Simon Shire, who was sold to Palermo for what was then I guess a fairly record fee, and then you've got Erik Sviatchenko, who went to Celtic and then now is back at the club. Pione Zisto, Rasmus Nissen, Andreas Poulsen, Mikkel Dueland. All these guys have come through the academy, have come through Midtjylland, and gone on to bigger things and bigger clubs. But yeah, I think it's just really a good club. They have a very good way of operating. So some of you guys who are familiar with, I guess, the English club of Brentford would know how they operate. They operate a lot on data analysis, and they were, I think, one of the pioneers. I think Midtjylland and Brentford were two of the pioneers of data and using data analysis for football, and they kind of showed how important it could be. And I think clubs across England have learned from these clubs, especially Brentford. And obviously Liverpool had their early experiments with the transfer committees and data and things like that, but that didn't quite work out because that followed more of an American model, and that didn't quite work out within the European system and the way the way football worked in general when it came to Europe. Even football as it is very different in Europe as it is compared to when it's compared to Major League Soccer. So it's very different, and Yeah. Midtjylland and Brentford, they've sort of driven this data-driven. They've sort of been the pioneers of data-driven analysis of players, and that's changed a lot of clubs, and not least Liverpool. Who bought Sadio Mane, Mo Salah off of data analysis. Even Diogo Jota, actually. And so their scouting and analytical team, with the facilities that Liverpool have just taken what these clubs have done and done it on a much bigger scale. So, yeah, for me, I think this is a really good club in terms of the history. I mean, maybe not as Midtjylland, but even when you talk about Ecast and Herning Fremad, these are clubs that have been there for a long time. Ecast was founded in 1935, Herning Fremad in 1918. So, it's really it's really just I mean, it's a historic club when it comes to Danish football, and they've contributed a lot, not just to Danish football, but in general to football. So I think they should be respected and and applauded for what they've done. But as for the match itself, like I said, predictions, I'm going to go based off of the lineups tomorrow. So I'm not going to give out a prediction right now. But if it's the lineup that I sort of predicted, I think I predicted about 9 or 10 of the players that might start tomorrow's game. I think I'd still expect a comfortable Liverpool victory. The only thing is cohesion might be an issue, but we'll see how that goes tomorrow in the game. But that's been my preview for the Midtjylland game. Champions League match day 6 coming up tomorrow. Early kickoff, so thankfully I don't have to stay up too late living and watching this game in India. Hopefully you guys have a great day tonight. Lionel Messi against Cristiano Ronaldo is obviously the highlight of tonight's games, and hopefully you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you back again for tomorrow's Raw Reactions episode. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, enjoy your football, enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.